Hello and welcome to a special Friday night edition of the Streamcast. I'm Blackamura. I'm joined by Ravi, and over the next 60 minutes, we're going to be spoiling, talking, doing all the good stuff about Spider Man Brand New Day. Get ready for another power hour to kick off your weekend and the new Premier League season with the
Streamcast.
No, 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 no. Hello and welcome to the Streamcast, bringing people together through gaming since 2018. I'm joined by Ravi. How you doing, bro?
Mate, I'm so excited to chat about this. I was just saying to you before as well. Like, I have literally just logged off my work laptop about 10 minutes ago, and also earlier today I watched one of those like hour and a half long videos while I was working on sort of like everything that happened in the movie, just to like give me some mental refreshing. But then because I was also working. I did not absorb any of that information one bit. But yeah, I can't wait to just chat Spider-Man, man. But how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, it's um obviously we've got very similar work styles. So I definitely sympathize when you were like, I just logged off. There have been many a month where that's been me. I will log off the laptop and 5 minutes later I'm live. I'm doing the podcast or I'm doing the stream. But hopefully it will be more so will be more chill than what you've been dealing with this week.
What a week! What a week!
What are we? But yes, like you said, we are chatting Spider-Man, and this is something that I have wanted to do because I feel like video games have been getting a bad rep recently. Some of it is because of Sony, some of it is because of Microsoft, some of it is because other parties altogether. But I think when it comes to just overall nerddom and things that people enjoy, I think the movies have to be considered in that. The TV shows, hence Hexman 97 reviews. I think the podcast is like I say, we bring people together through gaming, but it's not just gaming that we bond over. Like we bond over football, for example, even though we support opposite teams.
Mm.
There's something again that we can bond over and chat about, just like movies. And Spider-Man has been, I think, by far one of the big three superheroes alongside Superman and Batman. And dare I say, Spider-Man has enjoyed the most consistent run amongst all media.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to trigger this brand new day, like Sting once sung. And if you are a wrestling fan, you might be seeing a brand new day all in a couple of days.
Do you know what?
So
I was expecting you to come in with a little sound gun. It's a new day. Yes, it is.
you know what? If the New Day owned that, then yes. But because of the overlords that do own that soundbite, I don't think I can
Yeah.
get away with that.
Yeah, I don't think you can. That copyright strike could take this down midway through the combat.
Yeah. Be quicker than this stupid internet provider would take me off the air. They have been fired, by the way. I've got a new internet provider.
We'd love to see it.
We are moving on. September is going to be a new era for all, but it's been 4.5 minutes and we've not spoken about Spider-Man. Let's change that.
Here we go.
Where do you want to start? Because Ravi, you've been very good at carrying these podcasts whenever you've been on. So yeah, what do you want to go with first?
I think there's sort of like what I found really interesting with this whole movie in itself, in the run up to even it coming, like before it even came out, was the fact that they didn't even announce Sadie Sink's character. And I think, if my memory serves me right, I don't think they've done that for any character in the MCU.
Not for a major role, definitely not.
But even still, I don't know if they've even had sort of like a named actor that they've like brought on stage and stuff to be like, and that's done press tours. That they've even just been like, hey, this person's in the movie, but we're not going to tell you who she's playing, and they're not going to tell you who she's playing. You just got to watch it. I genuinely don't remember that happening in the 18 years that the MCU has been going on for. I don't. That's not happened, right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's just like from the moment that I started seeing stuff about the movie, I just thought something feels different here. And they're gonna do something big, and it's either gonna be one of those things that they think is gonna go hard, but then it just doesn't, or it's gonna be one of those things where it's just like it's revolutionary.
Yeah.
And I think everyone kind of clocked who she would play, pretty. I would say pretty easily. But like you can't keep a character like that secret for too long. Do you know what I mean? Like it was going to come out eventually, and you know where the surprise did get revealed. I think it landed in all honesty. But also just for spoiler warnings and all that, we're just going straight in with like it's been out for a few weeks now, but we
You've
can
had
get
enough time.
if people are watching this and they haven't seen it, that's a you problem.
That's your own fault.
But what about you? Like for that sort of like thing, like how did you did you expect it to be anyone else?
So that's a really good question. So I think first of all, I agree with you. I don't think a high profile actor where they did the rounds, they did the Jimmy Kimmels and all of that. I don't think they have had someone confirmed to be on the cast and not say who they're playing. So
Yeah.
I'll give you your kudos there. I think that is a good point. I didn't watch any of the pre-promo stuff. I didn't watch any interviews. I didn't watch any trailers because I don't want to single out the MCU, but a lot of movies tend to give you too much in the trailer.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't like that. Even Marvel's Wolverine, that game that's coming out next month, I'm refusing to watch anyone who's played the game because I feel like they're giving us too much. I just want to enjoy it firsthand. So I didn't know she was part of the movie. I didn't know she was cast.
Okay.
So that was a really big surprise for me. So I had no idea what was going on. I genuinely thought, oh, who is this old person possessing people? I didn't realize until we first saw her, and I think that's right after she possessed MJ.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw the red hair, I was like, oh, I think we're going X-Men. Bear in mind, I haven't seen any like Doomsday trailers either at this point. So I had no idea the X-Men were coming back. Okay. But yeah, as soon as I saw the red hair, I was like, oh, I think this is Jean. And then in the Punisher's like house, shall we say, where he's like foster care, I was like, oh shit, this is Jean, red hair, and they were like, we have a name, it's Jean Grey. Inside, I was like, yes, I popped hard for that. I think my brother knew. I was watching it with my brother, and I think he knew who it was. But I think he asked me a question to be like, is this from X-Men Jean Grey? I was like, yeah. So it obviously hit with us who have been around to watch the original X-Men animated series and Evolution. New era kids like Gen Z and later don't really know who Jean is. I've experienced.
I would have assumed that they would.
I'm going off one example, so maybe that is a bit of a generalization. But the one person I spoke to who would fall in that Gen Z era didn't know who Jean Grey is. So maybe she is the exception to the rule. But yeah, I'm interested to find out what this generation's perception of the X-Men is going to be, because we've obviously had live action, we've had TV series, multiple comic book series. So I want to know what their perception is going to be, because it's all about perception. Perception is reality.
Yeah.
Captain America wasn't cool until this run of movies. So I'm very excited to see where we're going with this. And there are a lot of maybe Easter eggs or seeds that they've planted. One with the inhibitor.
Yeah.
And that's only something I realized on the second watch. Like, oh, I think Peter's about to mess up the mutants big time, because it's only a few steps away from the collars and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm impressed with how far they thought this through and how far ahead they've planned. I guess the whole X-Men, Fantastic Four era of the MCU. I'm happy. I enjoyed the reveal. I thought it was very good. But I would like to. I mean, this has all got me hyped up for Doomsday now. Like,
I mean, like I saw someone say this is the best trailer for Doomsday that they've released so far.
100%.
Like, and I just think, just give the who's it, Destin Daniel Cretton, just give him the keys and just let him direct the rest of every MCU movie from now on. Like Shang-Chi was a banger. This banger, just needs to do more with it, because I think the story was told really well, and I think if they have really planted the seeds, like you said, for the inhibitor to be used as the mutant gene proper inhibitors for the collars, then I think it's a great sort of turning point for sort of how heroes are perceived to be heroes, I guess, because we had that here with Jean Grey, of just she was painted to be the villain for a lot of this movie, and then turns out she wasn't. But there is that sort of aspect of it, just going oh, they could turn this around, that Spider-Man's tech is the thing that started off the whole
anti-mutant,
anti-mutant sentiment, I guess.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think that also adds a third dimension to how the heroes are perceived. Spider-Man's always been viewed as a villain in the eyes of J. Jonah Jameson, and I think with the controversy of mutants worldwide in kayfabe, I think that all of this is going to go very well to confusing how these superheroes are meant to be viewed, because I think realistically in that world you're surviving, but all of your shit is being wrecked. I don't think the superheroes are paying for the damages, unless I'm mistaken, unless it's Iron Man doing it, or
no, Iron Man's too sort of capitalist to pay for the damages to everyone. He probably runs the insurance company. Let's be real.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, we've got the supervillain clause right here. Quickly, I do want to give a shout out to everyone viewing right now, whether it's live or on demand. If you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the Streamcast. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of January, because YouTube have increased all the requirements to go partner, and that's annoying. And we are also live on the Instagram, and I can see the Instagram comments on my second monitor, so please feel free to engage. We are working on going live on TikTok as well. So if you could help us get to 1,000 followers there, that would be great as well. It's Streamcast _ on Instagram and TikTok. Shout out McLovin Cosplay joining us from Instagram. Hope you're good. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend. Because you are a big gamer, Ravi.
Yeah.
I felt that there were a lot of Marvel Spider-Man video game references throughout the movie. The car chase scene, or the tank chase scene, shall we say? Yeah. Him kicking through the front window, the front window to Punisher.
Yeah,
I thought there was a lot of things that they pulled from the video games, a lot of stuff they pulled from older comic books. What were some of your favorite, I guess, moments or scenes from the movie?
I think it was kind of that montage of him going through all of the different comic book covers, fighting Scorpion and getting sort of that whip back in the little hat comes off. I think that's one of the more famous covers that they've had on the comic books. And I think where you didn't really keep track of all the press conferences and sort of the media, I guess, they asked Tom Holland about some inspiration that he took for some of his performances in this one, and he said that he's been playing the Insomniac games.
Oh, nice.
And some of the stuff that he's been seeing Insomniac Spider-Man doing, he wanted to incorporate in some of like his scenes here. So some of them are like, I think I saw a video on TikTok a while back. I think maybe a week after the film was first released, and it was literally bar for bar the exact same motion that he reenacted, and I just thought, do you know what, that is such a nice little nod to the game, and like it's one of those where like it's cool for anyone that is watching Spider-Man or watching the movie to like see it and be like, that's a really cool move. It's even better for the people that are like proper Spider-Man nerds who have played the video game as well, that look at it and be like, I know exactly what that is. I've done that 1,000 times. So it was one of them where I just looked at it and I just thought, that's really cool. It's a nice little nod. Like, he's learning more about the characters and different interpretation of Peter Parker, and I just think it was a really well executed movie. And like, I'll put it out there myself. I think this is the best live action Spider movie ever made.
Oh, that's a big claim.
It's a bold claim. It's a bold claim. But I do also think that this kind of like cements Tom Holland as not only the best Peter Parker, but also the best Spider-Man, because I think there was that whole conversation between the three of them where people said Tobey Maguire played Peter Parker the best, but Andrew Garfield played Spider-Man the best, and Tom Holland was a close second on both. I think it's gotten to a point now where Tom Holland has exceeded both as the best Spider-Man and the best Peter Parker.
Yeah, for me, there's no debate. I think Tom Holland is the best live-action Spider-Man and Peter Parker of all time. I think I'm trying to be fair here. I think nostalgia is a very big factor in why people think otherwise, and I do understand those opinions 100%. I can see the appeal of Garfield, and 100% Maguire is the first Spider-Man that I think of when Spider-Man is said. Very iconic actors, both of them. They've gone on to do great things since, but I just think in terms of bringing the vision of Spider-Man and Peter Parker, the duality of who they are, onto the silver screen, I think Tom Holland has captured it both ways amazingly. He embodies what Peter Parker is supposed to be. He's not supposed to be overly buff or intimidating, and Spider-Man is meant to be not scrawny, but maybe wiry is the right word. Not meant to be like Batman or Superman built, but he's supposed to be the everyman. And I do feel like Tom Holland has captured the personality through his physical performance as well as the dialogue and the delivery. Perfect. I feel like Tom Holland is who Stan Lee envisioned as being Spider-Man originally all those years ago.
I've got to agree with that. I think you're spot on there. Like, it's almost like he was built in a lab to be Spider-Man.
Yeah, you were born for this. I mean, I'll go as far as saying I think Zendaya is the best live-action MJ of all time.
I mean, to be fair, I think it's one of those things where it's like there is that whole meme of just like the Spider-Man and love interest of live-action movies just end up together, and like, fair play to them, they've actually gone like the full distance with their relationship, and you know, getting married and everything. So that natural chemistry is right there. I think that kind of like leans into the fact of the whole MJ Peter Parker thing, where it's just like their real life chemistry actually does feed into their performances.
Yes, 100%. I felt some of those scenes really well, especially the one where it's Jean, but we don't know it's Jean, but MJ's delivering all of this verbiage to Peter saying, I read your letter, I loved you, blah, 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 I feel the same way, blah, 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 blah. Really, really strong stuff. Like, the way they're just looking at each other, that's beyond acting.
You can't act
that. That's so good. And going back to your earlier point, it's a good thing that Tom Holland didn't know who Sadie was playing, because he probably would have spoiled it.
He probably would have, he probably did all of those scenes and just not just not said a name throughout the whole thing and been like, who is that?
Probably had his mouth taped for all the interviews. I want to give a shout out to someone who I guess didn't have like a major role, but still was integral to the story and was important. Florence Pugh, the
Yeah,
new Black Widow. I thought she was amazing in her
yeah,
roles, in her role, in her scenes. I meant to say, but yeah, I feel like because I don't watch a lot of the series. I
yeah.
mainly stick to the movies. So I'm like, okay, I guess this is the new Black Widow, but I don't get how and when or whatever. That movie did enough to bridge the gaps for me, so I could keep up. Um, and calling the issues potatoes, you do a small potato Spider-Man.
Yeah. But
I thought she was really refreshing. Sorry,
yeah,
Ravi. Go ahead.
yeah. No, I thought she was such a great addition. It's kind of like that's what the cameo should be. Like that is how they should be doing all these cameo appearances. It shouldn't be this sort of like, oh, it's announced in advance that this person's going to be in the movie kind of thing. Like she was not on any press tours whatsoever. She just turned up probably for like a day, and they just said like, be in a sauna or a spa for the whole day. We'll pay for the whole thing. Just like shoot some scenes and call it a day. And that is kind of what you want from cameo appearances, where it's just like they're not directly influencing the whole story or like to steer it into a different direction or like being a key pivotal point of this, but they're just someone to like appear in for those that kind of a little like cheap pop kind of thing.
Mm.
But also just to like it's just a fun addition. And I thought she played it really well. I think she just kind of like you can see that sort of like aspect of her character where it's she's dealt with so much trauma and shit in her life that now she's at a position where she's getting respected by her peers, by the world, I guess, from the Thunderbolts movie, and like now she can sort of like chill in a spa as her office and just have some fun.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's how cameos should be,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't outstay its welcome.
Mm.
Shouldn't try to be more than what it is. Sometimes things can just be fun.
Yeah.
Like I do think a really good parallel, and you did say cheap pop is pro wrestling. Perfect example is the Bloodline Rules match from WrestleMania 40,
Yeah.
where you had Cody finally dethrone Roman Reigns, but you had all of the cameos. You had John Cena, you had The Rock, you had Undertaker, and no one outstayed their welcome. They came in, they did their finish, and then they popped out, or they got hit by the next person.
It's just like just come in, do the thing, and go.
Yeah,
it's like we see at the Royal Rumble every year. Like someone comes in, just does their shtick, and then it gets bounced out almost immediately. And it's just like, do you know what? Love that 30 seconds. And like it's just one of the things where it's just it's fun, and that's what comic book movies should be, and that's exactly what it was. And like I had no idea that she might even that she would even be in the movie, or like if there was going to be any other cameos from anyone else, because you kind of see something like that and you're just like, oh, who else might pop up here? I'm glad they just kept it as the one.
Yeah.
And like it's again, as I said, it's just an enjoyable little thing that made that just added a little bit to the movie to make it just a little bit better.
Yes, I felt like every scene added to the overall experience. And I think this is one of Marvel's strongest points. They are really good at getting the time right. Their films never feel like they drag. I felt like this was 2.5 hours, I want to say.
Yeah.
It didn't feel too long. You hear stuff about, the Snyder Cut, this, and 3.5 hours that. The Odyssey's a long film. Oppenheimer's a long film. I don't feel like the length of this film was a discussion point at all.
No.
It's just because Marvel have had one of the greatest cinematic runs of all time. I would say the best run from phase 3 to phase 4. and it's one of those ones where every scene counts, every minute counts, all the dialogue, all the scenes, all the subtle body reactions they add. None of them feel like, oh, this is filler. Oh, this could have been taken off.
Yeah.
I am a big fan of every scene here. I feel like there's one that I really want to talk about. All of the fight scenes, particularly involving the hand.
Yeah.
That felt straight out of Marvel Spider-Man, PS4, PS5, Miles Morales, when you're like many on one.
Do you know what
Go
it
ahead,
is?
Remy,
You know what
go
it
on.
is? Like, you know when you're playing Insomniac Spider-Man, right? And you're in one of those like warehouses, and rather than like going stealth and just like
Stealth.
picking everyone up, webbing them in the corner or whatever, right? It's one of those where you've accidentally just fallen off the ledge that you're standing on, or someone's seen you web up someone else, and all of them see you, and all of them
Yes.
start coming at you. Right? It's exactly that little that little moment, and like that. I just found it a really fun fight scene, and I think to a point, the one of the downsides of the movie was just sort of they didn't really explain why the hand were there, or how they even converted the hand, because that's not really what the hand were in the Daredevil show,
Okay.
or well, even in Defenders, really, more so. So it kind of just felt a bit off with where they were just like, oh yeah, the hand will work for us, I guess, but like it was mainly to do for the basically just the plot to get
Yeah.
that fight scene in, and like
Yeah.
at that point I don't really care because it was great.
It was
But
sick. Yeah.
yeah, if you really wanted to like think about it too much, you're just a bit like, well, it didn't really make sense why they were there until you saw the fight scene and you were like, that's pretty cool. That's why.
Yes, I do think there were a lot of scenes that don't make sense until you watch it again, and I did have the opportunity to watch it twice. So I guess if you're someone who's not that knowledgeable about the whole Marvel universe, that can just you can let that one slide, because
Yeah.
I remember the line of what was his name, Menska, like who was just like, oh yeah, the hand worked for us now. I was like, okay, cool.
I
Didn't say
guess.
how. I assume there was some treachery going on, some deception,
Yeah.
some debauchery. But yeah, because I don't know everything about the Marvel universe. So I was like, okay, they've at least explained why they're on the same side. Like they
Yeah.
are on the same side, and that obviously pays off in the fight scene in the end, because that wouldn't have made sense without that line of dialogue. So
Yeah.
I get it. That works for me. But man, I struggle to find anything I didn't like about this film, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, genuinely. This is not me complaining about it because I bloody loved it. I said earlier that I think it's the best live action Spider-Man movie, and like I'll double down on it. I genuinely think it's up there with one of the better Marvel like MCU movies that's ever been made. For me, currently, it's like I'd probably say top 5.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
and like I just like I would happily rewatch it again. That's the thing, and like part of my factor when I think of these sort of like Marvel movies is how likely am I to rewatch this again? Like Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, I can pick up on any given day. I'll like if it's on TV, I will watch it from whatever point it's in. I will happily watch almost every Spider-Man movie from whatever point it's in, mainly because Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. But like I just think this was such a well executed movie that it didn't feel like it was overshadowed by anyone else. It felt like a pure Spider-Man movie, which I think is a criticism that some of the other Tom Holland Spider-Man movies have had, where it's not been about him.
Yeah.
So and he's kind of had to take a back seat in some of his movies with Iron Man's influence in there, and then Mysterio's like influence as well. Like other Tom Holland ones haven't really felt like it's a sole Spider-Man movie. Like he's constantly looking up to or playing against another big character, whereas this felt like it was truly his movie. Even though Hulk and Punisher were in there as well, I just think it felt like it was Spider-Man's movie, and they were supporting casts, but they weren't the sort of like big influence of the story itself.
I'd agree with that 100%. And that's something that I didn't think I really deeped at the time when I was watching Far From Home and No Way Home, for example. But yeah, I definitely agree with that take. I mean, it's very similar to pro wrestling. You know, when you want to get a new star over, you get them working with a veteran, right?
Yeah.
You get Obafemi working with the Beast, for example. But I would say that I think this has definitely been a success for Tom Holland, and this has been a Tom Holland Spider-Man film. I would agree with everything you said, even though Hulk was there, and obviously Hulk is a massive character in the Marvel universe. He never really outshone Spider-Man. Neither did Punisher. And I think another criticism that you might be able to levy against the Spider-Man films is they never feel like world-ending threats are the villains.
Yeah.
It's always small potatoes, as Black Widow said. But I don't think that necessarily yields a great story, just the fact that it's a world-ending threat. I think it's the quality of the writing, of the storytelling, the pacing. And again, this is one that's really done its job. It delivered in every aspect. And even the little moments, I would say, I don't know if you remember this scene right before Spider-Man's about to start fighting outside of the detention center, the prison that Jean's in. And he's like, 1 second, I got to stretch. And I did the whole Leo thing when I whistled. I went, hey, I relate to that. I'm 30 plus too. I gotta stretch before I do some heavy activity.
But I think that leans into more of the quippiness of Spider-Man as a character, I guess. That's where Andrew Garfield did really well, where he could be funny while he was fighting. Where I think there was in the first Amazing Spider-Man, where it's just after Uncle Ben dies and he's hunting down, kill him, and you see someone pull up a gun on him, and he's just like, "Oh no, don't shoot me, don't shoot me!" Like gun to my weakness kind of thing, and it's just funny. So it's I guess it's kind of leaning into the sort of quippiness nature of Spider-Man and him entertaining himself while he's fighting. But again, I just think it's a nice little touch. It's a nice little addition to have, because if you're going to go into like 10-15 minutes of just straight action, like have a laugh beforehand and then just be like, okay, yeah, we're all getting ready to see the big fight scene.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And that is why I'm going to agree with you again that Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, certainly out of the big three, just because I think he's the most human. He's very relatable. He's obviously very strong, very competent, but he's not unrelatable. He's not so far away. Like the Spider-Man physique, the Batman physique, you're going to have to do a lot of work to get to that point. But Spider-Man is very relatable. I know Stan Lee has said that the reason why his entire face is covered is so everyone can look at him and believe that, hey, that could be someone that looks like me under that mask. And he is a true New Yorker. The quippiness, like you said, the wittiness. I've been watching the 90s series of Spider-Man, and it is a lot better than I remember it being. Spider-Man
really holds up. It really does hold up, doesn't it?
That Spider-Man is really rude. He's a bit of a jerk. So I know this clip is on the rounds on socials where he reveals his face to a little girl, and
I was just about to mention that.
Ill. Before that, he gets Peter Parker at work gets a letter. It's from the girl, and she's saying how she loves Spider-Man. She would love to see him, just because I think Spider-Man's got a bit of bad PR in the press lately. And then the first thing he does, he just throws the letter away. He's like, I don't have time for this. He's such a jerk, and I love it. I think no matter who is under the mask, I do feel like Spider-Man has been one of those IPs that has been seriously respected. Like, we've seen really bad Batman actors.
Yeah.
We've seen really bad Superman actors. Maybe not actors is not the right word, but films, properties. We've seen bad Superman games, bad Batman shows. But I feel like across movies, TV series, whether it's live action or animated, and the video games, spanning as far back as the PS1, I feel like Spider-Man has been one of those things that has just been honored and respected so much. I know they're apparently making a Marvel Spider-Man 3. Insomniac have been firing on all cylinders, whether it's Ratchet and Clank, whether it's Spider-Man, or whether it's Marvel's Wolverine that's coming out next month. Whenever they announce a game. Yeah, 15th of September.
That's come around quick. I still haven't completed 007 yet.
I mean, I haven't finished Reanimal yet. We're in the same boat. I'm very excited about Wolverine. It's my personal most anticipated game of the year.
Yeah, same.
And I don't want to take too much attention away from Spider-Man, but I do feel like Wolverine and Spider-Man are in the same universe in game, and this is a pre-X-Men Wolverine. So, and I think that's a smart decision. That's wise for multiple reasons, and I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to use this game to like build the universe, which they can do in the movies as well, because now I've seen a trailer of Doomsday. It's very clear that it's going to be like this super multiverse almost, where all the notable Marvel heroes are coming together. We've seen Fantastic Four, we've seen the X-Men, the new era X-Men, and of course the Avengers. I'm very excited. Yeah, do you have any other moments that you want to talk about? Because we do have still some time left, and then
I kind of want to ask you kind of how would you introduce the rest of the X-Men into this? Because that's what that was my feeling when I left it. I was just like, and to be fair, it was one of the first Marvel movies in a while where I left the cinema wanting more. Like, like how many movies have we seen post Endgame where we've watched it and been like, that was a good movie. I guess we'll see what's happening in the next one. Whereas with this, I was like, no, I want more information. I want it like now.
I'm definitely with you there.
And I just think you can come up with so many ideas of like, where was she going at the end of the movie? Was she going to Professor X? Was she gonna meet up with someone, like, say for example, she would go to a doctor and it's Hank McCoy? Is she going somewhere and it's Magneto? Is she going somewhere and it's whoever it could be? Right. I just think there's so much room for where everything could go that I'm not entirely sure where they are actually going to go, or and hopefully that they don't fumble it. But I think they've set this up really well for Endgame. Oh, not Endgame. Doomsday.
Doomsday.
Doomsday. I'm still living in 2019 apparently. And yeah, I just, as I said earlier, I think this is the best trailer that they could have put out for Endgame. It's a really good first interaction between the MCU and the X-Men, and where people weren't really sure how they would interact or how they could coexist or go up against each other. I think this is probably the best representation of an example of here is one of our strongest superheroes in Spider-Man. Here is one of our strongest X-Men
Mutants. Yeah.
in mutants
Right.
in Jean Grey, and this is how they go up against each other. And we've been talking about this for almost like a week, like where we were talking about like we were talking about the MCU and mutants as Pokemon types, and it's just one of those things where it's just like this whole thing can keep a conversation going for like months, and we're 4 months out of it, out of Doom. I keep wanting to call it Endgame, out of Doomsday, where so 4 months out of Doomsday, and I think there's going to be there's going to be conversation going on for the next few months because of this movie, more so than any any other gap between MCU movies post Endgame.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think this is the most Phase 4 the MCU has felt since Phase 4, and it's a kind of a shame that it's taken this long to get there. But I think a positive way to look at it is they've proven that they can get that high before, and they're proving it that they are building up to another high now. I think you've made a great point about how the Avengers and X-Men can interact and it feel respected. It doesn't feel like a filler or throwaway. These are two very serious teams of the highest regard when it comes to all of fiction. The Avengers and the X-Men. And I know Troy put who would win. He put somewhat of a death battle when we compared the weapons, armors, and skills. We didn't do any of that, but he just asked who would win, and I think the overwhelming majority went with the X-Men. But it will be very interesting to see how the MCU covers that, because we've had plenty of experience and exposure to the likes of Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Black Panther, but now this is an area of the Marvel universe that hasn't been touched for a long time, and now the right owners, the keys are in the hands of the right people. So I'm excited to see what's a team that actually care about the IP that they are owning and the source material are going to deliver.
Yeah, and that's effectively how I'm seeing it as well. Like, this is fully how I wanted to see the X-Men come back. I think maybe, I mean, we've spoken about this before. The movies have been very hit and miss from 2000 until, the last one. And I would say there's more misses than hits. But I think it's I think it's easier to portray someone like Spider-Man, who's kind of like your everyday kind of guy that everyone can relate to, than someone that's just like, I'm a literal goddess who can control the weather.
Yes.
And I think one of the things that the X-Men movies didn't really do too well is explain who they are as people outside of their mutant abilities. It's almost just we've seen so many comparisons with what do the X-Men represent in terms of diversity and inclusion, so on and so forth. And it's what I think some of the movies haven't done very well is they've explained the character in terms of their powers and what they can do, but it's almost just like then that's saying this character is a person of color. This character is defined by their like physical or like historical origins, rather than this is a character because of this is who they are as a person. And I think that's where I would like to see the X-Men sort of be reintroduced, where and I think they did this superbly for Jean Grey. They explained who she is as a person, what her background was with her sister and everything, which is something that they've never done. I don't think they even did it for the 90s cartoon either. And this is a perfect explanation as to why she is the way that she is, and what she believes in as a fundamental characteristic of who she is. And I would like to see them do that a lot more with the new generation of X-Men, and just to explain them a little bit more rather than just sort of like, these are the X-Men and they have powers.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm gonna quickly shout out Mr. TG who's joining us through Instagram. Hello, hope you're having a great start to your weekend. I I'm gonna sound like a broken record. I agree with you once again. I realized I didn't answer your question about how I'd introduce the X-Men, and I am gonna copy your answer from the season 1 review of X-Men 1987. If possible, if I had the keys to the kingdom, I would do a short series focusing on the origins of each of the notable X-Men that I know are going to be in Doomsday. So I think we've seen Cyclops. Jean is obviously going to be a major player. Rogue has been announced. Storm has been announced. We know who's going to be playing those guys. Professor X has been announced. Can't remember if Magneto has been announced.
I don't think Magneto has.
Magneto not have no.
No, I don't think he has.
Okay.
I think it's been heavily rumored, but I don't think he.
Oh, there's no confirmation. That's
no.
Interesting. Maybe they're saving him.
So actually, hang on, let me get it up. So, what they've announced: Christopher Abbott as Professor X, Sadie Sink as Jean Grey, Kit Connor as Cyclops, Samara Weaving as Emma Frost, Indy Navarrete as Rogue, Maya Boyd as Storm, and Adam Driver as Mr. Sinister.
Oh, that's who it was. I know there was a villain. Okay. I would do one-off episodes covering the backstory of each of those major characters because, like you said, they haven't really covered Sarah Gray that well in previous media. I don't remember. I'm watching the X-Men 90s series right now. I'm on season 3. They made no mention of her. And what they've done with those stories, or that series, is they've kind of shown everyone in their prime, as in they're already part of the X-Men, and this is the story. They've been a team for a long time. But they haven't really shown how did they get here? And at least with Jean in this movie, in Brand New Day, they have shown the backstory. They have shown, she was born with these powers, and so was her sister. And this is why, like you said, this is why she is the way she is. She appears as the antagonist or the villain in this film because of her upbringing, because of her experience. But obviously, anyone who knows who Jean Grey is knows that she isn't evil. So it's more about how do we get to the Jean Grey that we know of in a lot of the popular media. I think that's the way I'd introduce them. Endgame didn't do the best job with Captain Marvel, and that's what I'm hopeful that they avoid this time around. They kind of just introduced her, they just dropped her in, and she was like, I'm really powerful. And everyone's like, well, why didn't you help before?
But I mean, they did kind of like throw that off as a little like throwaway scene of just like, well, there were a lot of other planets that were going through the same shit as you guys, and you guys aren't on every planet. So it was one of those things going like, well, I don't need to be here.
Right.
So, I mean, you guys seem to have had it, I guess.
I don't know.
Clearly, I was wrong.
I thought you were good.
Yeah, kind of. I thought you stuff. I thought you guys were the Avengers. Ooh. But it's one of them things where I just think going from a movie like Infinity War to Endgame, you've really got to like hammer the point of going like the movies that we're releasing between this day and this date in this 1 year block are essential. And I don't think they did. I don't think they marketed Captain Marvel very well, and that kind of led to the whole criticism of Brie Larson and the character itself. So I just think they just need to do it better. And it's such a easy way of saying they just need to do better. But at the same point, I do think, given that we know the cast now of the main X-Men, I think they can do. They should do a little anthology of just sort of like, this is who this character is. This is who this character is. But it shouldn't be mandatory to watch that series or anthology or whatever you want to call it on those characters to understand who they are in relation to the film.
That's fair.
So I think they should, where they've kind of lost their way a little bit of like, all this additional content in on TV format, only on Disney Plus, blah, 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 blah. They need to understand going, your main universe is the movies. You can't do all this additional reading and effectively homework between movies.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they need to go away from and just really start to hammer home with going like, okay, what happens in the movies is the linear storyline, but you just like you can go on this side mission like it's a video game if you
Yes.
really wanted to, and you'll learn more, and you'll a lot of things will make a lot more sense if you do it. Because I was playing what was it? It was Horizon, the first Horizon game, right?
Zero
Zero
Dawn.
Dawn, and I really wanted to go like just finish the story because the second one was coming out super soon, and I was like, I really like this game. I just want to finish it. So because I want to play the new one as soon as it comes out. I don't want to keep it for a month, for like a couple of months while I do all the side missions and all that. What then happened when I played Forbidden West was there were a bunch of characters who were in the side missions that were effectively just like I should have known who they were if I did all the side missions.
Right.
But like where those characters then join the main storyline, I wasn't as attached to them as I should have been because I just didn't see their their performances in the first game. So it's kind of that logic of you shouldn't have to watch like a show to understand who these characters are or why they are linking up together. That should kind of be explained in the X-Men movie itself, but it should be sort of like, oh, well, if you want to deeply understand the character and what they represent, you can watch it here, but it's not mandatory viewing for this like X-Men movie. It's just a bonus.
That's I think the side quest analogy is perfect for this. I do think the series of movies should be the one canon linear series that people should be watching because the movies are what you're selling. Those are the top funnel. And then the series can be additional content. It could be, like you said, side quests. That should be more of a background of the major characters or even the side characters. But I'm with you in that I don't feel it should be, oh, I need to watch these 5 films to be. Oh, Ravi's gone. How about that? It shouldn't be, oh, I need to watch these 5 films and these 2 series. Sorry, I shouldn't have to watch these 2 series and read this comic book to understand the plot of the upcoming new movie. I feel like you should be able to follow the story through watching the main films. And I guess the best way to showcase that with the Doomsday film would be to introduce the X-Men, because we're not going to get an X-Men solo film. We're not going to get an X-Men focused film in between now and Doomsday in December. I think the best way to introduce them would be to write them in the movie to introduce them fully. Maybe a scene where they're taking on an enemy or whoever it is that is assembling the team introduces or explains to the rest of the team and therefore the audience that we are bringing together a super team, and that includes these people. We don't know where they've been. We've found out that these bunch of mutants, I think they can use that word now, are around, or pull them in from another universe, because only now have we seen Jean, and I think we would have seen a lot of the other mutants by now if they existed. So I think explaining it to the rest of the team as though they are super strong and we need them to take on this threat of Doomsday, or maybe even the Fantastic Four team can say, we know some people, and they introduce the X-Men that way. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. We should be okay. I'm not sure if Ravi's back. Okay, I'll add Ravi back, whose camera has died. But his his mic is here.
Yeah, I am here. You can't see me, but you can hear me. effectively, yeah, I've now turned into John Cena for the rest of this. Yeah, no, what it was I've got a little sort of dock where all my peripherals go into, because I use the same peripherals for work, for when I plug my laptop in, and when I'm just using my PC just generally, and it just decided to switch over to my laptop, and I didn't even push the button.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
But
So all of my peripherals and everything just stopped working, and they just have, like, some have reconnected, some have not. But that includes like my keyboard and mouse, so I couldn't even like move anything.
That's frustrating, but
Yeah.
I appreciate that you're still here and able to deliver. Well, I was just saying, whilst you were figuring out your tech, that I think now, with the options afforded to us, because I don't think we're getting an X-Men movie in between now and Doomsday in December, you have to introduce the X-Men in Doomsday. Maybe you can introduce them in a fighting scene, showcasing how strong they are, taking on an enemy or a bunch of enemies, or you can have either the Avengers or the Fantastic Four team explain to the rest of the team, therefore the audience, this Doomsday threat is going to destroy every universe unless we call all of the big guns. And we have this team from this universe. We don't know why we haven't been able to make contact with them, but here they are, and we need them. This one can control the weather. This one can summon pure energy from another universe. This one, we already know Jean, so Jean's here. So I don't know how they handle that, but I think you're just going to have to show and tell, because you don't have that much time.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be, and I don't really know how they're going to do it with the whole new gen and old gen of X-Men characters, because well, I mean, you didn't really, you said you didn't watch anything about Doomsday or anything. Do you know any of the casting for it?
I know Cyclops is in it.
Okay.
I know. I think Gambit's in it, right?
Yeah, but how do I do this without?
I would say treat me as if I've seen nothing.
Okay,
and this is
cool.
a spoil cast, so spoil away.
Okay. I mean, so you know Cyclops is in there, but I think really the question is whether is it going to be James Marsden, or is it going to be because obviously they've now given the cast
Yes.
for the X-Men, well, they put the cast for X-Men out. They did do that big casting video a while back on who's going to be in Endgame, and you know there's rumors of like more characters coming into it as well. So it's kind of, did I call it Endgame again? Doomsday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna let that one
Doomsday.
slide.
Yeah, no, like I caught myself and I was like, yeah.
That's the Endgame again.
Well, I guess I know what I'm watching this weekend at some point. But yeah, it's just one of those where, do you give the well, I guess, do you give the call back to the old gen, and or do you just like introduce the new ones in a big movie such as Doomsday, or just wait up until their actual movie? So yeah, I think it will be interesting to see how they go about it. But I'm honestly I'm just excited. Like this is rekindled my love for the MCU movies again, like fully, and like I want to watch this movie again, and I want to watch more X-Men stuff. Like I told you the other day, like ever since this movie came out, I've been watching so much X-Men like movies and content, and yeah, I feel excited again.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like I do say this in the 60-second review that is going to go out on socials after this.
Yeah.
It feels like the MCU is back. And
we are so back.
Yeah. Restore the feeling. And like you mentioned earlier, or similar to what you said earlier in the film, I haven't felt this excited about the MCU for a long time. I would say Infinity War Endgame, where since Endgame, I've been sticking around after the films to see the post-credit scenes out of obligation. Whereas in
Yeah.
Brand New Day, I stayed to watch the post-credit scene out of loyalty, out of the good old feeling of I want to see more content. I don't want this experience to end. And I feel like we are on the way back to getting a really hot MCU. I think Doomsday is going to be really big for not just the Avengers, but also the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. I think we're back. And like you, I've been, obsessed with old Marvel's content as well. I've been going back watching Spider-Man and X-Men, the OG series, on Disney Plus. I just can't wait to see what's next. And I'm at a place now where I don't really want to book or fantasy book what's going on next. I want to see what these guys have got cooking, because there is certainly enough money for them to figure it out and tell a good story. Um, Brand New Day has made over $2 billion in
Yeah.
box office, and Tom Holland has made at least 100 billion in wages. So I'm very happy to see all that. But there is no excuse. On the other hand, there is no room where I'm going to allow any mediocre slop to be run. They have to be on the top of their game. There is enough money, there is enough time, in my opinion, for this to be given the utmost care, and we should be getting the best product. It's time for the X-Men to be redeemed in live action.
Yeah. I agree with you that they have no excuses to mess this up at all. But stranger things have happened in the world of comic book movies.
Yeah.
Where I just want them to treat it with the respect it deserves and the attention it deserves. Because one of the things that I wasn't particularly happy with post Endgame was they gave individual movies to individual directors who wanted, say, that movie. Like Sam Raimi really wanted Multiverse of Madness. But he admitted that they didn't watch WandaVision, that they wanted to do the whole Scarlet Witch is a villain storyline, but thematically it made no sense. And I just think they need to have that singular vision that they had in phase 3 and 4, where they said, okay, this is the direction that we're going to. This is where we need everyone to end up. We have a group of directors and everything to oversee where the final movie's going. But, you can, as a director of, Shang-Chi, for example, you can kind of do what you want with it, but it does need to fit in thematically with the rest of it. So, yeah, I want them to go back to that and just give the keys to a couple of trusted directors who have done really well, including Destin Daniel Cretton, to basically just say, okay, this is the overall vision of where we want to end up. Make it happen, and make sure that the other directors are on board. Well, not really they're on board with it, but you're making sure that they're following it. And if stuff like Multiverse of Madness were kept on track a little bit, with what it should have been or what it could have been, they could have then made this movie of Scarlet Witch being a villain as another sequel, because people would have wanted more. But because it kind of disappointed them, because it kind of messed up the story that was told in WandaVision, they've kind of had to just sort of like get rid of it, really, or just disregard it.
Yeah.
So I think they just need to keep to a consistent vision, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it just needs to follow one coherent story. There has to be one head booker, and there can be a few bookers underneath, but they can't just be doing their own thing. They have to be following the team. So we really can't have what we had before, where you had someone else doing the Eternals, and you had someone else doing the Marvels, and someone else doing Captain Marvel, and everyone has a different vision for how they want to be telling these stories, and some of the stories don't mesh, and some of them can't write well, so it just dilutes the quality of the overall story, and then things feel out of place when all the characters join the big super movie.
Yeah.
We need one head booker, and we need one group vision, and everyone following that vision. The only thing I can compare that to is the God of War Amazon Prime video show that they're working on, where Christopher Judge went out in public and said the guys making the show are not consulting Santa Monica. That is so nonsensical to me. How are you trying to make this hit show based off a series of games that have obviously been very successful, and you're not following their lead? You're not trying to follow that group vision. It does seem like they're headed for at least some controversy. Yeah, you can't really have that. What's the? You can't have two heads, right? So
Yeah.
we really need for this to be handled with care. And we've seen things slip in phase 4. I don't even know which phase we're in now.
I mean, yeah. The way that I'd put it, the biggest comparison I make is Game of Thrones, where like I wasn't like I never watched a lot of Game of Thrones. I watched maybe the first 5 or 6 episodes, but I know that it was that it was such a well loved show up until the point where they started making it beyond what the author had made, and when you take it when you take it and do it yourselves, it's so difficult to keep that level of quality because it's not your thing, it's not your vision. And as soon as they decided to do that, it fell off so much. Well, by all accounts, anyway. And it's you could probably make the same thing comparison with The Last of Us and the second season of The Last of Us, where Craig Mazin, who albeit directed it very 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 well in season 1, he became more involved with the storytelling of season 2 as opposed to the makers of The Last of Us, like Naughty Dog, really.
Naughty Dog, yeah.
So you kind of saw the dip in quality there because it's not his story to tell.
Yeah,
and I think that just needs to be. I think that just needs to be followed. I guess. I would want God of War to have the people that made it on it. But hey, if that's the decision that they've made, then I guess we're just gonna have to go with
it. Yeah, I mean, as consumers, we have two currencies that we can what's the word, flex, I guess, for lack of a better word. We have time and we have money. If we don't like something, we don't buy it. We don't if we don't like something, we don't watch it. We don't spend our time on it, and that's really all we have to fight these big corporations. And that's the only way we can demonstrate that we are not a fan of what they're trying to do. Yeah, I think you made perfect examples. I think as a big Game of Thrones fan who caught up maybe season 3, season 4, as soon as they deviated from the author, it just went to shit. And I just remember being so disappointed in the last 2 seasons. Last of Us, I didn't even watch because I know that series can't tell the story better than the games did, so I didn't even bother. Sadly, with God of War, the one Ryan Hurst, who was cast as Thor, was cast as Kratos, and I thought, oh, this is cool. Let's see how this goes. He suffered an injury on set, and now he's been replaced by Batista. So I have no idea what they're doing, but I don't know if I'm even going to watch it if they don't consult the Santa Monica team, because I don't have faith that they are going to give the series respect, because they're not even starting with the Greek saga. So I don't know what their vision is. But yeah, it doesn't fill me with confidence. I'll put it that way. To wrap things up, because I know you have a whole Premier League season to support. I want to shout out Courtney and Addy Jax, who have joined in via Instagram. Shout out you. I hope you're having a great start to your weekend. Really quickly, what number rating would you give to this film, and what do you think the post-credit scene means?
I would give this a solid 9 out of 10. I think it's I think this is a great movie. I would happily rewatch it again. I want more, and yeah, I think it's done absolute justice to what I think Spider-Man is and what it represents. In terms of the post-credit scene with the little tracker saying that he's off-world, I don't think that is this Spider-Man. I don't think that's Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I think it's another Spider-Man that's been detected, whether it's something to do with Across the Spider-Verse, whether that's to do with Doomsday and incursions or bringing some of the other Spider-Men in or back again. I don't know. But I don't think... My current theory in my head is that I don't think that's Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yes, I think that's a very safe bet. I'm going to go on record and say I think this is a 10 out of 10 film.
Okay.
I'll give it 10. Yeah, I had no complaints, because even the best films have a scene where it's like, okay, this dragged, or oh, that line didn't work. I didn't feel like that at all. I loved every minute of it. I feel like when MJ told Peter, "I don't love you," point blank, and Spider-Man still took MJ home, I was like, this is what Spider-Man's all about. This is what a superhero is being all about. And I remember some people who are like commenting about that on socials were like, oh, I would have taken her back. I would have left her. It's a perfect example of why you're not a superhero, because you don't get it.
Yeah.
You don't understand. So it's a 10 out of 10 for me. I'm going to go on record like you and say this is the best live action Spider-Man film I've ever seen. I still think Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite all-time Spider-Man movie, but yeah. It's clear. Tom Holland is clear.
It's the same as me. Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. And I think you're right. I think the post-credit scene is definitely talking about a different Spider-Man, considering what the last scene of the film is. It's Ned realizing who Peter is, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Very well performed, very subtle. I think it's a reference to Across the Spider-Verse. That's what I think it is.
Really?
I don't know if it means that Tom Holland somehow is going to be in that third film, whether like a digitized version of him, or whether we are going to see a new Spider-Man, because Tom Holland's been Spider-Man for, I want to say 15 years now. He's been...
I think he is, yeah.
I think he's been Spider-Man for a lot longer than Maguire and Garfield has been.
Yeah, he has been longer than them, but I don't think it's been quite double-digit years.
No,
yet.
wait, 15 years would be 2011, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't be that. It would be whenever.
Maybe 10.
I'd say about 10, maybe
10.
9 or 10 years. Yeah.
Civil War was 16, I want to say.
Oh, then yeah, it would be 10 years. Yeah.
So it's definitely Civil War. So yeah, I think maybe 10. So he's been Spider-Man for a long time, and I don't know if that's I don't think that's something that he can do forever for the rest of his acting career. So there might be plans to have a different Spider-Man be on the silver screen. I don't know how they're gonna write that. Maybe we do see Miguel O'Hara take front spot for a change. Obviously Miles Morales is the main star of the Spider-Verse franchise, but maybe live action Miles Morales is the way we go next. He's definitely the most popular Spider-Man after Peter Parker, so I don't know if there's going to be a changing of the guard, but my shout would be Spider-Verse because of the graphics of the post-credit scene. But yeah, I could be wrong, and I'd love to see what viewers and listeners think when this episode goes live wherever you get your podcasts. I would say give it until Monday or Tuesday, want to shout out Ravi once again for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. The double duty, the Ravi sandwich is complete. Thank you so much again. The season 2 review of X-Men 97, and of course the brand new day Spider-Man review. I can't thank you enough, Ravi, but tell the people how they can support you.
Yeah. So yesterday I had the second episode of the fantasy football breakdown, the FPL breakdown, which sits on the Canon 49 YouTube channel. And yeah, it was great fun. We had content creator FPL Maverick on the podcast as well, which was a big get. And yeah, been part of the Arsenal Women chat show for I'd say just over a year now. So yeah, very much in my sort of like content creation podcast bag at the moment. But yeah, my links, I guess, to YouTube and Twitch is at Palmer1993, which hopefully I'll get a bit more into streaming again. It's been a while and I do miss it, I have to admit. But yeah, it's just finding the time to stream, which is my main issue at the moment. But I will try and stream some more. But there's just a lot going on.
Yeah, I don't envy you at all. You are a very busy man between, you know, the daytime and all of your content. One of the best Pokemon content creators that I've seen. And obviously your passion for football is second to none. So I hope everyone does follow you and support you, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, or somewhere else. I'm going to say this publicly, so Ravi's embarrassed enough to do it. I want those links so I can share them. I already have the Arsenal Women chat show, so I'm going to put that in the description and in the comments after this podcast ends. But the Canon 49 one, I would appreciate that one, so I could help you and grow the FPL podcast as well.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
Of course. And once you are done supporting Ravi, you can also support the Streamcast. If you're watching this on Instagram, hello, give us a follow. We are so close to 1,000 followers. Streamcast_. I'd appreciate that. And that's the same on TikTok. Streamcast_. We are chasing 1,000 followers over there, so we can live stream on TikTok too. We are currently at 700. And if you're watching us on YouTube, obviously, hello. You are part of the favored. We've just hit 600 subs, and we are trying to get 1,000. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube as well before the end of January. It's a hard deadline over here, so please help us get there. And like this video, that helps us a lot in terms of growth and discoverability. And you know, we've been doing this podcast for a very long time, almost 8 years. It'll be 8 years next month. So I just want to thank everyone who has supported over that time. You know, we have people who have been here since day one. We have people who have followed recently. It goes a long way. And, you know, out of the millions and millions of podcasts out there, it is an honor to be honored as one of the best gaming podcasts in the UK. We have made the best 40 list. But as you can see, this has been updated from the last time I mentioned this. We have made it from 25 all the way to 11. So I want to thank everyone who has supported us along this journey. It's not been easy, you know, with multiple factors, people joining, people leaving. But the one constant, the one variable that isn't a variable actually is me. So I want to thank everyone who has supported this show since day one, since 2018. And we do have 10 more ops that we need to surpass as we claim our goal as being the best gaming podcast in the UK. Because this podcast isn't going to stop. Give us 3 days. We'll be right back with Jeffrey, the founder, the owner of Pick Up the Mic. He's going to be interviewed by me, and we're going to be talking about his entry into gaming, his first game, his favorite games, and how and why he started his own community, Pick Up the Mic, which is very, very impressive. He's got a very bright future ahead of him. And after that, it won't be much longer. The games nights are back. The first Thursday in September from 7 till 10 p.m. We're going back home to Zombie Games Cafe, where we'll be playing video games, board games, card games, whatever you like, as we bring the people together, whether it's work or just some other thing that you need a reprieve from. Let us be your third place. We do have a physical safe space for gamers alike. And I'm going to let Ravi go because I know Arsenal's Premier League campaign kicks off in about 30 minutes. Can they do the back-to-back trophy list? Are we going to see the armpits of Declan Rice again? There's... you know what? Let's say, Ravi, are Arsenal going to win the league?
Yes.
All right, cool. There you have it. I'm going to clip that.
For the first time since the 30s, yeah, we're going to do it.
You know what? Let's do it. I'd love to see it. Until next time, take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Stay safe. We'll see you on the next Streamcast. Thank you once again, Ravi, for being an absolute legend.
I loved it. Thank you.